could make history by becoming the first African-American president of the United States. It's an honor to welcome Senator Barack Obama. You're the best dancer so far, the presidential
It's a
candidate.
low bar. It is a low bar. But I'm pretty sure I've got better moves than Giuliani.
Yeah. You definitely do. And you just made $800 for the Susan G. for the cure.
Thank you. Thank you. I lost my watch. I was so excited.
You got a punch on your watch.
My watch went flying.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, you got it back, right?
I did. It's in my pocket.
All right, good.
Yeah.
All right. So, how about this about being related to Dick Cheney? Did you know that? Was it a surprise?
You know, we'd kept it hidden. Mm-hmm. He's the black sheep in the family. You know, we're just
Now, y'all ever go hunting together or anything like that, or no?
Family hunting parties,
No?
I bow out. Yeah.
No reunions or anything like that?
Not yet. But I may show up. Who knows?
Really? At a family reunion?
Next time.
But I mean, how did y'all, if it's that far back, how would you cross-reference a family member to find that out?
You know, I guess there are these genealogists. They do genealogies on various people, and some genealogist has done one on me. And you know, you always hope that you've got Cleopatra or something.
Right.
Then it turns out you've got some thief or something.
Yeah.
in your family.
You never know. Sometimes it's best not to know.
It is.
Sometimes it's
Exactly.
best not. All right, and so maybe you could be him for Halloween, Dick Cheney.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
I saw some of those costumes, by the way. You looked sharp.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you make a good Elvis.
Yeah.
I like the sideburns especially.
Thank you. Well, those were real, and I just shave them for the Daily Show. But what do people want to? I think first of all, you're charming, and I think people are drawn to you, and you have a lot of charisma. And politics, I really don't understand a lot about politics. I'll try to ask you some questions, and I think we have people at home and in the audience that have questions. But what can you tell people about the man, not the politician, but who you are as a man?
Well, I come from a diverse background. Right? My mother was from Kansas, a white woman from Kansas. My father was from Kenya. They met at the University of Hawaii, which is where I spent a lot of my youth. And then I lived in Southeast Asia for some time. And I've got a half-sister who's half Indonesian. And so I've got family all from around the world. And that, I think, is a big part of me, because there are pieces of me, including Dick Cheney, in my family tree, and hopefully that's one of the talents I bring to politics, is getting people to recognize themselves in each other and work together.
Do you even pay attention to the pressure that what I just said is if you would be the first African-American president? I mean, do you think about that, or is that not an issue?
Just being the president, that's pressure enough.
Yeah.
And so, I spend most of my time just thinking about how can I communicate a message of change? Because I think, people are really frustrated with the gridlock and the pettiness of politics, and part of the reason why you may not pay attention to politics a lot is sometimes it's depressing, because it doesn't seem like we get a lot of stuff done.
Right.
And so, what I'm trying to do is, during this campaign, to figure out how can we bring people together around issues like healthcare, global warming, and giving a better education for our kids, and how can we overcome some of the special interests and the lobbyists that tend to dominate our politics.
And if you win the primary, would you consider, and I asked Hillary this when she was on the show, would you consider Hillary as your running mate for vice president?
You know, I am just thinking right now about how I get through the primary. But you know, Hillary Clinton is a terrifically accomplished woman, and you know, she is going to be, I think, not only a formidable candidate during the primary, but she's just a terrific public servant. So right now, my job is just to make sure that I get through this primary, get the nomination, and then and also to make sure that you know, my wife and kids don't forget who I am during the process.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you have the energy to do what you do every single day. You got to really want that job bad, because that's a lot of work, and then you get there and it's just tons of pressure. But
it's like being the host of Ellen.
Almost. It's almost that kind of pressure. Yeah. It's.
Yeah.
I mean.
How do you handle it?
I don't know. And how do you feel about gay? Speaking of me, how do you feel about gay marriage? Would you legalize gay marriage?
You know, what I would do is immediately set up a civil union that is equal in federal rights, so that all the states, all the rights that are conferred by the state are the same for gays and lesbians, same-sex couples, as for any other couple. In terms of marriage, what I would do is I would say that each religious denomination can make up their own decisions. Now, my denomination, United Church of Christ, we recognize same-sex marriages, and I think the other denominations may feel differently about it. But the state has to make sure that everybody's rights are equal.
Right.
And right now, we've got over 1,200 benefits that married people get that people who have civil unions that are recognized by their own states don't get.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's not right, and it's not fair.
It's not right.
It's not fair.
It's not fair. But
Exactly.
I'm glad you recognize that.
I do.
It's good to know. All right, so we are going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to get questions from the audience, and we're going to actually maybe surprise people and call them at home.
I am really looking forward to that.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Good. We'll do it then. All right. We'll be right back. Presidential candidate Barack Obama, and we've asked our viewers to submit some questions for the senator online. And we picked some, and we thought it would be fun for the senator and to talk to him directly. They have no idea. We said, if you could, what questions, and they think we're just going to do it online. But I am going to call them.
Let's talk.
And we're going to, now you said I have a hard job, and I do. And one of the hardest jobs, I'll tell you,
is dialing?
Is dialing while I'm talking, because it's really hard. So don't ever put yourself in that situation, or at least have somebody do it for you, or.
You're doing good.
Well, I've made it through. But now we're calling Makita Johnson from Richmond, Virginia.
This is really exciting.
I know, she has no idea.
I hope she's
Hello?
there.
Hey, is this Makita?
Yes, this is her.
Hi, Makita. This is Ellen DeGeneres. How you doing?
Oh my God.
Hey, wait. Oh, it gets even better. Hold on.
Okay.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, Makita. This is Barack
Hi.
Obama. How are you?
Wait, no.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Makita, I hear you had a question for me. We wanted to call up and answer it personally.
Okay.
This is good.
What's your question?
My question is, I know being a senator is a very time-consuming job, and
Yes.
because it's so time-consuming, you don't get much time for your family. And as president, how will you divide your time for your family and time for running our country?
Well, it's a wonderful question, and I know you know my wife Michelle is just terrific, and my kids are, of course, spectacular.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Malia and Sasha. And it's the hardest thing about running for president is being away from the family so much. But one of the things Michelle and I talked about before we even started to run was how do we make sure that our girls are good? And what we've tried to do is create a real protective situation for them. We didn't move from Chicago. They're there going to the same school with the same friends and really try to be as normal as possible. And the nice thing about if I'm president, I hear that they give you public housing. There's this. So yeah. So there's we'll all be under the same roof, and hopefully I can do my job and tuck them in every night and read to them and do all the things that dads do. But
That's great.
But one thing Michelle's absolutely clear about is if I can't do a good job as father, then it's pretty hard to talk about families and how I can do a good job for the country as well.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Makita, thank you so
Makita.
much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Bye.
That's a good question.
That was good.
Now, speaking of that, you've been married for 15 years,
15
is that
years,
right?
I have.
And you seem like a wonderful romantic couple.
I'm a very romantic guy.
What's the
Yes.
most romantic thing you've ever done? With her?
Well,
Not someone else,
now I will tell you, the way I met Michelle, she's younger than me, but she had gone straight through school and through law school, and I had worked before I went to law school. So the way I met was she was a first-year associate at a law firm, and I was a summer associate. So she was my advisor. And so she would not date me because she took this position very seriously. And I kept on begging and pleading, which is usually how you get dates. But finally, after a firm picnic, I offered to buy her ice cream. And we went to Baskin-Robbins, and we sat out on the curb and ate ice cream cones. And then I kissed her, and that's when I figured, that's when I sealed the deal. I thought,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that moment buying her ice cream was probably...
That did it.
That was it.
All right. Thank you so much. We're going to come back and we're going to read your emails. I appreciate you being here.
This was wonderful, and I hope I get a chance to be back.
All right. Well, I hope so too. Good luck to you, and
Thank you.
we think you're terrific. And
I do hope I started a trend with the presidential candidate dancing.
well, now they have to.
I want to see him bust a move
Yeah.
out here.
All right.
Absolutely.
And we'll have this on tape to taunt them. Yeah. All right. We'll be back. All right. Thanks. I want to thank Senator Barack Obama, Sabrina Bryan, and Mark Ballas. I've been thinking about the lovely tone of Barack Obama's voice, and I thought how wonderful it would be if he read a selection from my book, My Point and I Do Have One, which has been recently reissued and is widely available at your local bookstores. And so now I give you Senator Barack Obama.
My Mother, the Car was the weirdest show ever. It even tops The Flying Nun. A man's mother dies and is reincarnated as a car. It could happen. I mean, a talking toaster or a talking can opener, an ironing board, or a ping pong table, those would be ridiculous. But a talking car, that's much more likely. Somewhere along the way to putting this show on the air, drugs had to be involved. It was the 60s. To me, it sounds like the last idea you have, and you mention it kind of embarrassed, and after all your other ideas have been rejected. I came up with this one at 3 in the morning. I don't know. Well, it's a talking car, like they have, and it's this guy's mother, I guess. Now, he might not have been zoned out on Boo or Goofballs, but the network guy who bought it, man, he had to be on something. Right, it talks. Just like a person talks. I dig it. Write it up. I'll give you more notes after I tie-dye my shirt and drive up to San Francisco to see the Grateful Dead. Wow. Look at my fingers. They're funny. Thank you.
Exactly how I intended it.
Pretty good rendition.
Exactly. That's what I had it. Bye. See you tomorrow. I have a friend named Michelle, and she's out of town this week, and she had to leave her husband alone, and she wasn't sure how he was going to handle being alone. So she gave me a list of questions and asked me if I would check on him and see if he's doing these things. Let's see if he's there. Michelle's husband, are you there?
I am here.
Mr. President, Michelle said she's out of town, and she wanted to know, did you make your bed this morning?
That would be no.
No.
And, when she's out of town,
things get a little slovenly around the house. Socks everywhere, shoes.
Have you eaten today, and are you taking care of yourself? Did you exercise?
I did exercise. I did eat. And I ate healthy, and I had some carrot sticks along with the potato chips.
Okay, good. It balances out. Okay, and you took your vitamins, and you're all set for dinner and all that, right?
I'm all set.
All right, good. Those are my questions that I had to ask. And should we take a break and come back with more questions?
I think so. I think that would be appropriate.
All right. We'll be back with the President of the United States. We're back with the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama, who's joining us from the Ellen Blue Room at the White House. Mr. President, it has been a while since we've spoken. You look great. How are you?
I am doing great. You look wonderful also.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. You didn't have to just because I said you look good, but that was nice of you. And
That's true.
I don't know if you know this, but I was aiming to break your record of retweets, and I apologize for doing it, but I broke your retweet record.
I heard about that. I thought it was a pretty cheap stunt myself.
Yeah, right.
Getting a bunch of celebrities in the background.
That's the only thing I could. I tried. That's the only thing I
feeding
could.
them pizza.
Yeah. So the First Lady's in China. How is she doing?
She hasn't landed yet, but the house is abandoned. I'm stuck with 2 dogs, and I'm expected to walk them and do what you do when you walk dogs.
Now,
But I think they're gonna have a wonderful time, though. They haven't been to China before, and the opportunity for them to talk to young people. They've actually met with students here in the United States who've made these trips before, and helped brief them in terms of what they should see. And it's going to be a wonderful exchange, and hopefully, because of this trip, they may be able to invite some Chinese students back to the United States as well.
that's amazing. Your daughters are. How are they doing? I mean, they're growing up so fast. Every time I see a picture of them, and first of all, answer that question, please. And then I have a comment about the tattoo thing that you told them.
Well, they are doing wonderfully. Malia, she turns 16 this summer, which is a little scary.
Wow.
And Sasha's going to be 13. And they're doing great in school, and they're smart, and they're funny, and they're kind, and they're athletic. And so I really have no complaints, except for the fact that increasingly they don't have that much time for me. I am not that interesting. They're nice about it, though, because they still love me. So they'll come in and they'll pat me on the head and kiss me, and they'll say, "Oh, Daddy, we love you so much." And they'll talk to me for about 5 minutes, and then they'll say, "We're going to be gone all weekend." And
They're very busy girls.
So that's making me a little sad.
Well, and I bet. Let me mention this. I don't know if everyone heard this, but you made the most amazing comment about if they would ever get a tattoo, and I think everyone should stick to this rule. If your daughters got tattoos, that you and Michelle would also get the same tattoo in the same place, and you'd all take a family photo of all the tattoos.
That's exactly right.
That's fantastic.
We will reduce the cool factor of any tattoo.
Yeah.
Michelle and I will be right there, and we'll post it so that everybody will be able to see it, and we'll say, we all got matching tattoos.
Wow.
And I suspect that'll be a pretty good deterrent
Wow.
for both Malia and Sasha.
I hate to say it, but I hope they get tattoos. I really do. They could.
Ellen, you should be a part of this.
Yeah, no.
You should pledge to also get a tattoo with us.
Yeah, well, you know what? If that happens, I will. But other than that, I'm not into tattoos. I'm not going to do that. Let's also talk about, you went shopping. I don't know how you can do this, but you went to a mall and you shopped at a Gap recently because you were photographed, so I know it's true.
It happened.
It happened. You went to the Gap and you went shopping. How do you have time?
Well, here's the thing. We were on a trip to New York, and the Gap announced that they were going to make sure that all their employees at least got paid $10 an hour. So they're increasing their wages for tens of thousands of employees across the country. And since we've been saying that America deserves a raise and we should provide a minimum wage of at least $10.10 an hour, I thought it was great for me to be able to go frequent a store that's doing right by their employees.
Good for you.
And I thought that was really important.
Good for you. That's fantastic. And they sold a lot of those sweaters that you bought. I understand those sweaters that you bought sold out because everybody wanted to wear the same sweaters that your daughters are wearing.
Well, I thought they were pretty nice sweaters. Yeah. And Malia and Sasha, they did not scowl when I brought them in, which was a good sign. Yeah. I mean, they didn't immediately say, ooh, that's terrible.
Well, you have a family of good taste.
I have not yet seen them wear them, but I'm hoping that I make the cut.
Well, I would like to see them wear them also. While I have you, I think it's only fair we should talk about Obamacare, and that rhymed.
Well, you know, we've got about 2 weeks left till March 31st for people to sign up. If you don't have health insurance right now, you should go on healthcare.gov, and especially all the moms out there who may have young people, 26, 27, don't have health insurance, but they think they're invincible and nothing's ever going to happen to them. You know, what we've said is you never know what life is going to throw at you. You can, at this point, get health insurance for $100 a month or less, in some cases less than your cell phone bill or your cable bill, and it gives you some financial security. It gives moms some mental security that their kids are going to have decent care. And you know, particularly at this moment when a lot of young people, as they come out and they're getting their first or second jobs, they don't necessarily get a benefit on the job. Now's the time to take a look at it. But the website is now working. Healthcare.gov actually works the way it's supposed to, and I hope that people take advantage, because if you don't sign up before March 31st, then you won't be able to sign up again until November. And I want to make sure that everybody has this opportunity now.
It's doing very, very well. I think it's surprised. It had a rough start, but you've got 5 million people that have signed up so far, which is an enormous amount of people that have signed up. So it's successful. And why is there a deadline? Why is there not just an open-ended because I think it is important for everyone to have health care, and a lot of people think, oh, I'll be fine, and like you said, you never know what's going to happen.
Well, if anybody who's gotten health insurance on the job, you know, you have this thing called an open enrollment period. Basically, the insurers, they're pricing for a year, and then they need to figure out how many people have signed up, what the risk pool looks like, how many elderly people are, how many healthy people, how many young people, and that's how they set prices for the following year. So they have to close the open enrollment period at the end of March 31st. They'll start back up, so you can sign back up in 2015 in November. But if you don't have health insurance right now, now's the time to check it out. And as I said, you know, people will be pleasantly surprised. I've got a lot of folks who write me letters saying, I didn't vote for you, and I'm pretty skeptical about Obamacare, and I heard about all the problems on the website, but when I actually signed up, it turns out that I'm saving $100, $200, or I'm getting health insurance for the first time. And so all I'm encouraging everybody to do is to take a look and see what options are right for you and your family. And moms out there, email your kids if they don't have health insurance and tell them to at least check it out, because they may be pleasantly surprised that it's much more affordable than people thought.
Well, people are starting to applaud here. I think that everyone's very grateful that you did this, and I think it is important for people to sign up and to it's just better to be covered. You just never know. And before we go, first of all, I appreciate your time, and I know you're busy, and it's the end of the day, and you've got to walk the dogs and do the laundry. But before we go, do you watch House of Cards? Do you watch Scandal? What are your thoughts on those shows?
You know, I watch House of Cards. I haven't seen Scandal yet, but Michelle has watched Scandal. I have to tell you, life in Washington is a little more boring than displayed on the screen.
I hope so.
Yeah. You know, the truth of the matter is, if you followed me, most of my day is sitting in a room listening to a bunch of folks in gray suits talking about a whole bunch of stuff that wouldn't make very good television.
No. Well, that's what I do, and we make great television. That's what. That's,
I have to tell you, though, Ellen, there is not much dancing in the Situation Room,
No?
as a general rule.
that's
No.
what's missing. That's what you have to do.
That's the problem.
All right. What about that Let's Move campaign? Make people dance in there. All right, listen, thank you so much. You should watch Scandal. It's really, really good. And I'm glad to hear that.
That's what Michelle tells me.
It is. It's great. And I'm going to call Michelle and give her a good report. I'll tell her you're doing okay. You can go to our website to learn more about Obamacare. Remember that March 31st is the deadline to enroll, and we'll be back. Mr. President, thank you so much. Always good talking to you.
Great to talk to you again. Thanks, Ellen.
Now, can I just say I was watching some of the dance moves
Yes, sir.
backstage.
Yep.
You guys are doing pretty good.
Yep.
I was pretty impressed. I liked it.
Yeah, the gentlemen that were on the floor,
Yeah.
I thought followed Twitch very well.
I thought they were going to hurt themselves.
Yeah, yeah. You felt you didn't want to compete with that coming out?
I couldn't. Once
Yeah.
I saw that, I said, you know
Yeah.
what, they've set the bar too high.
Yeah, you're not going to do it.
No.
The last time you were here, you were running for president, and now you're leaving. I feel like I have something to do with both. But this is an obvious question, but how do you feel now compared to when you were here before?
Older.
Yes, I knew you'd say that. Tired?
You know, the interesting thing is actually I feel really energetic. The first time I came, you know, there was a lot of possibilities out there, but also uncertainty. And, you know, you're young, you're eager to get started, but you don't necessarily know what you don't know. And now, after having served for 7 years and having gotten a lot done and seen the progress that we've made and seen the incredible resilience of the American people in fighting back from recession and war, in some ways, the fear drops away. You feel confident that America's going to do well. You know the job better. You're more relaxed. And, but just as enthusiastic as I was the first day I started.
Do you look at what's going on now in the campaigning, and do you miss it in any way? And do you look at them and go, oh, you're making big mistakes?
I don't miss it. It's always good to get out of Washington, which can sometimes be a little depressing.
To get out of Washington, or to, what part is depressing?
Well, Washington.
Yeah. That's, I would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Yeah, no, but
You're kind of not kidding. You're kind of not kidding.
I'm kind of not kidding.
Yeah, I mean, what was the biggest surprise for you? When you became president, what surprised you the most?
Well, the fact is that most of the time, if something reaches my desk, it means it's really hard, which is why they bumped it up to me, because nobody else could figure it out. And you know, when I came in, the economy was collapsing. We were about to go into a Great Depression. We had to make a whole bunch of decisions about saving the auto industry, or making sure that you know, businesses got back on their feet, or the housing market would recover. And you know, you're having to make big bets with incomplete information. You're not sure that everything's going to work. And I think that part of what's happened in this Instagram, you know, Twitter culture is that we expect quick answers without sacrifice, without having to make choices, and politicians play into that. But the truth of the matter is, you know, the world is a big, complicated place. The good news is that we're generally going in the right direction, and my hope is that we'll continue to do so.
That's everybody's hope. But let's talk about me. I feel like, don't you think if more people danced and just had fun instead of, everyone takes everything so seriously, and I think that we have these, you know, people that all, I'm kind of kidding there, obviously, but I think we have people that we all have the one thing in common, which is we just want a good quality of life.
Right.
And then we have these people that feel one way, and if someone feels another way, we tend to hate them. And it's just
That's
really,
not helpful.
No, it's not helpful.
The amount of stuff that is just put out there on the internet or on sometimes news broadcasts that are just factually inaccurate is surprising, and it's really hard to catch up. Since I came into office, we reduced the deficit by 2/3. But if you ask the average person, they're sure that spending has shot up. And the reason is because there are a bunch of folks who say that we're wildly overspending, even though we aren't.
Right.
And that's just one small example, but it happens all the time, and that's something that we have to fix, partly by people paying more attention to what's going on every single day. And it's hard. People are busy. They're dropping off their kids. They're, working. They're, trying to figure out how they get some exercise, do some push-ups, and
Speaking of her,
Okay.
What do you and Michelle disagree on?
Well,
Like, what do you fight about?
after about 15 years, I finally figured out that she's always right. So then, surprisingly, we just stopped fighting
Then
after
there's
that.
no more fighting. Well, she's a cheater. You know that. When you talk about the push-ups, I'm not gonna argue about it anymore. But she's a cheater.
Yeah.
Look how far down I went, and look how
you're still upset about that.
I am, so because she didn't go down all the way, and she claims she had longer arms, and so listen, it was very impressive that she kept going, but she didn't go down as far as me. Look at her.
Okay.
Look.
She's gone down pretty far.
No, not as far down as me. Look.
I mean, those are good. You have good form.
I have better form than her, and I.
You have good form.
All right, listen. We're back with the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama. So, what will you miss about being in the White House, being president? What is the one thing that you're thinking? Oh, this is gonna suck.
Well, Air Force One's really nice.
Now, I've just seen House of Cards. Is it like the plane on House of Cards?
It's better.
Is it? That's a good-looking plane.
It's a nice plane.
Yeah.
And then Marine One, you helicopter around. You land on. After you land the plane, then you just get in the helicopter. It's a pretty good deal.
So you don't get to do any of those anymore?
No. I was told a while back that I had just flown 1 million miles on Air Force One. And I asked, is there a frequent flyer plan? Which makes sense. Ex-president, I mean, I understand there'd be blackout dates.
Right.
Right? But if the new person wasn't using it.
Exactly. It's just sitting there.
It's just sitting there.
Yeah.
That's my point.
So you'll fly commercial from now on?
No.
But I mean, that is something to miss.
I don't miss flying commercial.
Yeah.
Taking your shoes off and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
no.
it's stinky. Not yours. No, not yours.
That's right.
When other people.
I wear clean socks.
No,
I don't know about
no,
you.
when other people take their shoes off
Okay,
on a plane.
maybe other people.
It's
Maybe
just
that's
rude.
true.
No, I didn't
Yeah.
in any way insinuate you have stinky feet.
That's my point.
If you want to prove to me and take your shoes off right now. All right.
Oh, no, we're not going there.
All right. There's like a barber shop and everything in the White House?
Yeah, I get my hair cut. It's all self-contained. And the great thing is that you don't have to go anywhere to get stuff done. You don't have to run to the dry cleaners. You don't have to shop for food. The bad part about it is that it's a bubble, and you don't leave.
Yeah.
Or if you do, then the bubble follows you everywhere, and that's something you never get used to. And what it also means is you're not having sort of the spontaneous interactions with people.
Yeah.
That you do on a Saturday morning. You put on some sweats. You don't shave. You go to the Starbucks and you run into somebody. You have a nice conversation. That kind of stuff, or just taking a walk.
Yeah.
Which is the thing that probably I missed most about being president, is just take a nice walk on a nice day.
Can you drive?
I know how to drive, yes.
But will you be able to drive?
Well, I'll continue to have Secret Service, but
Can they be in the back seat?
that's my point. We're going to negotiate.
Okay.
On a nice day, if you got a convertible,
I know.
Yeah.
That you'd
maybe they can just tail me.
Yeah.
That's my hope.
Yeah, run. They can run right behind you. All right, we have to take another break. We'll be back.
All right.
We are back with President Barack Obama, and I mentioned it in the monologue, but I cannot tell you or thank you enough for what you have done for the gay community. So thank you.
it's one of the things I'm proudest of, because my whole political career has been based on the idea that we constantly want to include people and not exclude them. How do we bring more and more people into opportunity and success and feeling hopeful about their lives? And but I will say, we were driving over here today, and I meant this. I said it to my staff. I said, as much as we've done with laws and ending Don't Ask, Don't Tell, et cetera, changing hearts and minds, I don't think anybody's been more influential than you on that. I really mean that. That's true. That's true. And so you know, your courage, and you're just really likable. And so as soon as, you being willing to claim who you were, then suddenly empowers other people, and then suddenly it's your brother, it's your uncle, it's your best friend, it's your coworkers, and then attitudes shift, and the laws followed, but it started with folks like you. I'm so proud of you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
That's
It's true.
really sweet. Thank
That's
you.
true.
I'm not really gay.
But you, on TV,
I know.
you play one,
I just
and it was
thought
great.
it would work, and I've had to stick with it because people responded well.
Sort of like the dancing thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. You just gotta kind of keep on going.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back to you. Malia is going off to college, and that's got to be.
It's hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's got to be.
Look, as Michelle reminds me, our job is to prepare them not to need us. And both my daughters are wonderful people, and Malia is more than ready to leave, but I'm not ready for her to leave. And yeah, I was asked if I would speak at her graduation. I said, absolutely not, because I'm going to be sitting there with dark glasses, sobbing. Yeah, she's one of my best friends, and it's going to be hard for me not to have her around all the time. But she's ready to go. You can tell she's just a really smart, capable person, and she's ready to make her own way. And they're wonderful. They're wonderful girls, and Michelle gets all the credit, maybe an assist from my mother-in-law, but they really are just solid kids. They don't have an attitude. They're courteous and kind to everybody. They work hard. They don't feel like they're entitled to anything.
Well, they have great parents.
Yeah.
Both you and Michelle are really, really amazing. Michelle is such a strong, wonderful role model for all women, and she has been a great first lady.
I
She's
agree.
been amazing.
That I agree with.
All right, we have to take another break.
That is indisputable.
Yep. And you have been a great president, and like you said, people can say things over and over and over again about unemployment or the economy or anything else they can, but if you listen to that, you're going to believe it. If you look at and look into it and see what the facts are, it's just not the truth.
We're better off now than we were when I came in.
You've
There's
done
no
an
doubt.
amazing job. We're back with President Barack Obama. So I heard that you carry a charm or something in your on your
I have
person.
a bunch of charms that
People
I put
give
in
you
my pocket.
things.
Yeah, they give me things this dates back to the campaign trail. They'd hand you stuff, and I started getting this big collection of little charms, crosses or lucky coins or.
And you keep a different one in?
Yeah, I'll just put a bunch in my pocket.
I have something to give you.
You
then.
do? Okay, what do you got? Let's see.
It's a charm, and it's my picture and your picture.
Oh, that is, look at that. Yeah.
That's for you.
I will treasure
Okay.
this. This is so sweet.
Yep, so that's for you
Thank
to keep
you.
at all times.
I will.
All right.
Okay.
And then I have a surprise for you, because
You
it's
do.
Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah.
So we have a surprise for you. Take a look.
Surprise! Hi, honey, and hi, Barack. I just wanted to wish you a happy Valentine's Day. It's our last one that we'll spend in the White House, and in honor of that, I wrote you a little Valentine's Day poem that I wanted to share. Roses are red, violets are blue, you are the president, and I am your boo. I wrote that while I was doing 100 push-ups this morning. You know, it gets the creative juices flowing. You should try it, Ellen. No, really. You're the only person I'd share my husband with on Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to you and Portia, and happy Valentine's Day to everyone. And Barack, I know there's a See's candy out there, so bring me something chocolatey back. You know what you need to do. Love to you both. Bye-bye.
That's so sweet. Isn't that sweet?
That was very sweet.
Yes.
That was very sweet.
Yes. So I thought I would help you out because you didn't know she was going to do that.
didn't.
So I set up a little setting.
I've got something prepared.
Wow. All right. Well,
Yeah.
then I have a setting
I was
for
going to
you.
deliver it to her in person, but we can do it on the set.
All right.
Come on.
All right.
Come on.
All right. So you'll stand there.
So I'm going to stand here with
I'm
the
gonna-
rose petals. and
I'm going
everything.
to set the mood.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Is this good?
Yep.
All right. Somebody call the Situation Room because things are about to get hot. Michelle, this Valentine's Day, I'm going to treat you right. I'm going to make you some zucchini bread. Then I'll spread out some veggies on a plate, just the way you like them. Then I'm going to give you a massage while you watch Ellen's Design Challenge on HGTV. Because I love you so much, I Obamacare about you more than you even know. That's right, Obamacare. But, Michelle, I've made a lot of great decisions as president. The best decision I ever made was choosing you. Thanks for putting up with me. I love you. And Ellen, happy Valentine's Day. We'll be right back.